We could hardly have asked to get off to a better start here in Season 3 of our realistic Johannes Thorup career mode. In a near-perfect Episode 1, we absolutely smashed Aston Villa 4-0 in the opening game of the Premier League season. New signing Josh Sargent grabbing 2 of those 4 goals. We also grabbed 4 points against Ipswich and Leicester, as well as progressing to the next round of the Carabao Cup. But if you watched Episode 1 last season, I don't need to remind you that we got off to an even better start. A perfect Episode 1. 3 wins in 3 in the Premier League and a win in the Carabao Cup. And that didn't stop us getting relegated. So we can't afford to rest on our laurels here in Episode 2. We have 3 important games to get to so far. A Carabao Cup fixture I imagine will appear, but a featured game of the episode will be a trip to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea. We'll definitely be quick simming the Southampton game, and I'll play one more game and show you the highlights. Whether we play Newcastle United away or the Carabao Cup fixture that appears, we'll have to decide depending on who we're drawn against. First though, we have the closure of the summer transfer window to get to. I'm not anticipating doing too much business. We're likely just going to be monitoring incoming offers for our players, like this one from Sheffield United for Luke Harris, a talented, promising young midfielder, 71 overall at just 20 years of age. They're offering Ismaila Koulibaly in return, who looks to be a solid enough player, but I have high hopes for Luke Harris this season. We could use a little more depth at centre-back. Jan Bednarek arriving most recently to provide backup to the likes of Issa Diop, Tosin Adrabayo, Calvin Bassey, but we don't have a lot of money left in the coffers. So if we do strengthen across the back line, there's something that's going to have to wait until January, and that would depend on the sale of somebody like an Alex Iwobi or an Owen Wijndal. So it does look like deadline day is going to tick away with no additional business. But as usual, there were some big money deals around the other leagues. Eder Militao, for example, joining Bayern Munich for almost £150 million. Kirkju joining Manchester City for almost 100. Gyökeres joins Newcastle United. That's a really interesting signing for them. And Kevin De Bruyne is on his way out of Manchester City. I'm not sure how old he would be at this stage of the save, but just over 60 million for the Belgian midfielder. Kolo Muani is on his way. Ryan Gravenberch joins West Ham, which is again an interesting one, but not quite as interesting as Jack Grealish to Brentford via Paris Saint-Germain. And 3 seasons deep into the save, former Crystal Palace man Michael Olise finally gets his move to Bayern Munich, just as he has in real life. Daniel Marlon to Newcastle looks to be a fairly interesting one as well, so we might see those new faces later in the episode. But now though, we have a matchup against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge to prepare for. Not far to travel for this one of many London derbies. Perhaps not the most hotly contested of those London derbies, but it should be a pretty tasty fixture nonetheless. Should be a fairly tough fixture as well, as Chelsea have a pretty strong starting 11. Robert Sanchez starting in goal. Reece James and new boy Sergio Reguilon will be the fullbacks. Badia Shiel at centre-back. Cole Palmer starts on the right. Raheem Sterling on the left. Caicedo still features at CDM, whilst Armando Broja leads the line for Chelsea up front. We did, of course, sign him on a loan to buy deal in a previous season, last season, in fact, with Norwich City, but Chelsea recalled him. As for Johannes Thorup's side, he has gone with a pretty similar 11 to the ones that we saw in the previous episode. Emerson Royale starts at right back. Rico Henry does get the nod at left back, though that position has been hotly contested with Owen Wijndal. The back three, of course, remains the same. Schlager, a new signing, starts at CDM alongside Yusuf, and Ruben Vargas gets the nod ahead of Andreas Pereira. Again, a position where there's a lot of competition at the moment. Sargent and Muniz start up front. So without further ado, let's head over to Stamford Bridge and see if we can continue this excellent start that we've had to the Premier League season so far. So we are up in the commentary box at Stamford Bridge, looking for another 3 points. And I think it's reasonable to predict that we may come away with those 3 points. It is certainly not a guarantee. I think Chelsea are going to give us an incredibly tough fixture. But I think based on the way we played against Aston Villa in the opening game of the season, if we can put in a similar performance again here today, I see no reason why we can't run out winners here at Stamford Bridge. Rico Henry with an excellent start, and Josh Sargent puts us ahead 2 minutes into the game. And we asked for a performance similar to that we put in against Aston Villa. And immediately Rico Henry has put in a performance far better than the one we saw against Aston Villa. The new signing was less than stellar in that opening game of the season. He gave the ball away. He was less than solid defensively. But immediately here at Stamford Bridge, he has ventured forward from that left wing-back position and delivered the ball on a plate for Josh Sargent. And he's not going to miss from there. You put the ball on Josh Sargent's head in that kind of situation, and the ball is hitting the back of the net. It's a guarantee. The XG on that would be 1.0. There is absolutely no doubt. And we pretty much have been given a 1-goal head start by Chelsea. We need to make sure that that's not in vain. We need to make sure that we take them up on that goal head start and don't give them one back. But what a start to the season. What a start to the game. Yusuf tracking back. Nice little ball inside though. Cuts Rico Henry completely out of the equation. And Schlager inside the box puts in a perfect challenge and just sets it into the feet of Yusuf, who cannot find Rodrigo Muniz. We said in the last episode, it's going to be interesting to see who steps up to claim each of those two centre midfield positions either side of Xaver Schlager, the other new signing who has really impressed. Yusuf, with passes like that, is not going to put himself in pole position by any means. The same can be said for Ruben Vargas on the other side, although he has looked more than decent so far. I've been really impressed by Ruben Vargas. I expected him to have a slightly higher overall, but I suppose just get rid. I suppose his potential is still probably not that high because I don't think he was really particularly well known before the Euros, where he really impressed for Switzerland. I certainly really wasn't aware of him before the Euros. So what an interception that is by Calvin Bassey. So I imagine his potential is still lagging a little bit behind and will probably be slightly higher in FC 25. He is 27 years of age and is just a 76 overall, so I imagine that's pretty much what his potential is. Maybe it could be a 77, 78. Yusuf now in a good position. I thought it was Rico Henry initially. Vargas goes down. Referee doesn't show any interest whatsoever in awarding a penalty. We did, of course, grab a penalty in the opening game of the season against Aston Villa as we see Josh Sargent's header once more. What a start to the season and to his Fulham career he's had. That's now 4 goals in as many Premier League games for Josh Sargent. So an incredible start as Johannes Thorup brings him over from Norwich City. He was promised a big money move away from Carrow Road, and Johannes Thorup gave him that. I mean, I say big money. He was only 20 million, which really isn't very much at all if we consider that Dominic Solanke has just joined Tottenham for, what was it, 65 million? So a third of the price for Josh Sargent. I will take that all day long. Presses high, Josh Sargent can't quite win the ball back. But Chelsea, like Aston Villa, look to be struggling to feed their powerful striker. Ollie Watkins we saw dropping deep into his own half on several occasions in that opening game of the season. That simply can't be a free kick. And we haven't seen that from Armando Broja just yet. And rightly so, because Chelsea find him in the penalty area and he levels the scoring. Really, really poor defending from the set piece. I mean, it was a good delivery, and Broja is a big, strong lad. That probably shouldn't be going in from there. if for no other reason than Bernd Leno should not be standing on the edge of his 6-yard box. He should be standing on the line. Just not that line. The one behind him. Should be standing on the goal line there pretty much. No reason why he should be 5-6 yards off his line. And the header's looped over the top of him, and that's exactly why. Poor pass, Calvin Bassey. Things already beginning to fall apart for us here at Stamford Bridge. But if you would have given us 0-0 20 minutes into the game, we would have taken it. So, I mean, 1-1 at this stage is hardly any different. Cole Palmer beats Yusuf far too easily for my liking. Pepe. Schlager cannot dispossess him. There are a lot of Chelsea players in this lineup that I don't want to try and pronounce the names of. One of which is the centre midfielder playing alongside Caicedo. Another is their centre-back. And we do, of course, have Tosin Adarabioyo at centre-back today, who has joined Chelsea in real life. I said in episode 1, I'm not going to be replicating real-life transfers. Although we are... What a ball that is from Bernd Leno. Nice little touch from Emerson Royale. Links well with Ruben Vargas. Schlager in a good position too. Finds Yusuf on the edge of the box, or doesn't quite find Yusuf. Almost found Yusuf. I said I'm not going to be replicating the real-life transfers, because although we are coming to the end of the transfer window in real life at the moment, we are now 3 seasons deep, or into our 3rd season at the very least, here in this save. Good save, Bernd Leno at the near post. Again, the defending's got to be better though. Adarabioyo not covering himself in glory. Beaten by Broha for the goal. Beaten there as well. So it doesn't make a massive amount of sense to me to be replicating 2024 transfers here in 2026. So we won't be doing so. So we do still have Adarabioyo. We don't have the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe. But we have, of course, made our own transfers. Bernd Leno finds Calvin Bassey. Henry drops in to collect. Yusuf makes a run in behind. Enrico Henry will just drop it into the channel for him. A little toe close to the touchline, though, rather than really into the channel. And it goes harmlessly out of play for a Chelsea throw-in. Reece James finds Cole Palmer. Into the feet of Broha, who finds Caicedo, and back to Palmer. Nice little move from Chelsea down this right-hand side. As Armando Broha beats Calvin Bassey. And Reece James bursts forward to the byline. Can he find space to deliver? Instead he finds Cole Palmer. Armando Broha taking up an interesting position on the corner of the penalty area. And it's going to be out for another Chelsea throw. Cole Palmer to take. Can't really find an option at the moment, though. And Yusuf cuts it out. He's just going to have to hook clear, though. Doesn't manage to do so. I was just about to say, how is that not a penalty? But it is. The Chelsea player absolutely sold me. I was convinced he was going to shoot Pepe. And I slid in with... Well, I assume that's Adarabioyo, or is it? That must have been Diop, actually. I slid in with Diop trying to make a block, and he just didn't shoot. Takes a tumble. Penalty Chelsea. 2-1. I've complained several times over the course of the series about penalties awarded to the CPU, but we can have no complaints about that one. Pepe just absolutely did me. Absolutely sold me. I was convinced he was going to shoot and I was going to block the shot. Not what ended up happening at all. And before the half-time break, what are we, half an hour into the game? We are 2-1 down. Chelsea gifted us the lead. And they have wrenched it back within half an hour. We've looked... I would say half decent at the very least, though. Chelsea probably have edged the game on the balance of play so far. That's so poor from Ruben Vargas. I mean, it was a good overlapping run from Emerson Royale. Vargas just has to find him there. He has to reward that run by dropping the ball into the channel for Emerson Royale to run onto. Does really well, though, Ruben Vargas, to grab it back. And finds Yusuf on this far side. Couldn't quite bring it down, though. Rico Henry also wasn't making the run that I was hoping that he would make on the outside of Yusuf. So how much we could have done with the ball had he been able to bring it under control, I'm not sure. Vargas once more. Cuts inside. No, Emerson Royale fakes the run. He's sprinting down the touchline and then just stops dead in his tracks as soon as I try and pass him the ball. It was the perfect run. It was exactly the right run outside of Ruben Vargas. And he just stops. Chelsea fans fully behind their team now. And rightly so. They've been pretty impressive after going 1-0 down. Probably deserved their lead as Josh Sargent heads clear at the near post, but it is only going to be another Chelsea corner as they still have the likes of Nkunku to bring on off the bench. It's a strong starting 11, but an equally strong bench for Chelsea as Josh Sargent heads clear again. Chelsea bring it down on the edge of the box. Yusuf beaten. Rodrigo Muniz gets in the block this time. We cannot clear our lines, though. And it's a really good save by Bernd Leno, not just to make the save, but to hold on to it as well. And we have no options on this left-hand side. And what is that? Use your right foot, man. You have 2 feet. I swear Yusuf has like a 4-star weak foot as well. And he's gone outside of the left foot there rather than inside of the right, where it made far more sense to play that type of a pass. Broha once more, and Chelsea have absolutely wrestled control of this game away from us. We haven't been able to get anything going for a good 15, 20 minutes or more now. And look at this football Chelsea are playing. Another good save, Bernd Leno. But Chelsea absolutely dominant at the moment. We really didn't see any passages of play like this from Aston Villa at all in the opening game. Really, we were playing the role of Chelsea in that opening game. It's another good save, Bernd Leno. How I didn't get the block in there, I don't know. Emerson Royale. Can we break down this right-hand side? Royale and Josh Sargent are going to attempt to do so. It's a perfect ball into the channel. I don't think Sargent is quite going to get there, and he's not. Reguilon quick enough to deal with it. It was the right idea, though. The quick break was on. The run was the correct one. The pass was a good one. But it was just equally good defending. Can we find Schlager? Not quite, but we can find Yusuf. Sargent. Vargas. What a finish that is, Ruben Vargas. 2 new signings combined to grab an equalising goal on the stroke of half-time, surely with the last action of the first half. And Ruben Vargas, as well as Josh Sargent, is really beginning to impress. And what a move this is. Yusuf into Sargent, squared. 10, 11, what am I talking about? 17 yards out. What a finish that is with the left foot from Ruben Vargas. Not sure why I thought the penalty area was just 12 yards deep. 12 yards is, of course, the distance to the penalty spot. It's 18 to the edge of the box, and he was just inside. So a first-time finish from about 17 yards, past an excellent goalkeeper and Robert Sanchez. Clinical finish from Ruben Vargas. And on the balance of play, decent enough first half. Probably more than we could have expected against Chelsea. It was certainly more than we could have expected against Aston Villa. But they gifted us the lead, of course. But I think we did really well to get back into that game and grab an equaliser just before half-time. And we'll see if we can build on that in the second half and come and grab 3 points. Why not? Thank you for checking out this episode of our realistic Norwich City career mode. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're approaching the end of the FC24 cycle now, but there'll be plenty more content to come with the release of FC25, including 12th man memberships. If you want to get more involved with the channel, check out the membership tiers on my homepage. Memberships start at less than £2 per month and come with a whole host of benefits and rewards. including you being able to feature in my career mode saves. We'll be starting a road to glory with a created club as soon as FC 25 drops. So if you want to be included in the save or even feature in our starting 11, become a 12th man member of the channel today. 12th man members also get exclusive early access to all of my videos, not only my career mode series, but also my realistic slider sets and everything else in between. If you want more information about exactly what each tier involves, be sure to check out this video on my homepage. If memberships aren't for you, you can also join the public area of my Discord server, or just keep watching and enjoying the content for free right here on YouTube. As always, I appreciate all of your encouragement and support. Now, let's get back to the video. So no changes for either side at this stage as we come out for the second half at Stamford Bridge. 2-2. And a pretty open, attacking, maybe not quite expansive game exactly in the first half, but it was well contested. It was back and forth. It was entertaining, I would say, for the neutral. And Yusuf has just gone a little too early and is going to be called offsides here, and he is. And it is going to be a change for Chelsea within a couple of minutes, and Kunku coming on for Pepe, who of course won the penalty for Chelsea that gave them the lead for a brief time in that first half. A bit unorthodox from Schlager there, but does manage to win it back. Yusuf finds Rico Henry. Can he find Josh Sargent in the box? He's made a perfect run. I said the XG on that was 1.0. Robert Sanchez has other ideas. Really good reaction stop. What a run from Josh Sargent, though. That's exactly the kind of run you want to see from, not your number 9, because he's number 11, but from your target man striker. Headed clear by Chelsea from the corner. Schlager takes it down, though. Shapes to shoot. Oh, my God, what an effort. Sanchez makes the save. Manages to hold on to it as well. Really impressive goalkeeping. After an excellent strike from Schlager. Vargas once more venturing forward. Lays it into the path of Emerson Royale. Muniz this time trying to win the header in the box. Can't quite, and Chelsea again clear. Vargas wins it back, though. He's going to have an opportunity to cross and does. Again, Chelsea head clear. And it's going to be Emerson Royale this time to apply the pressure. Sargent and Vargas doing the same. Back to Robert Sanchez. Badia Shield now. And I think Chelsea have done enough to play through the press. Schlager wins the header, though. It's a half-hearted clearance from Chelsea. Really good feet from Yusuf. Gets a shot away with his left foot, and it's going to be a Fulham corner. This is more like it. This is the way we started the game. Faded a little bit in that first half. But we've started the second half just as well as we started the first. And we are looking the brighter side, and the side more likely to take the lead at the moment. As Yusuf searches for Sargent, can't quite find him. Please let me switch on to Schlager. No idea why it wouldn't allow me to there. He was clearly the closest player to the ball. And it was a loose ball, so it should automatically be switching to him anyway. Bernd Leno finds Adarabioyo. Big switch of play is on, but we're going to go via Calvin Bassey and then into the feet of Rico Henry. Another good run from Yusuf. Again, it's dealt with well by Chelsea, though. They've been able to handle those balls into the channel, which should figure to be pretty productive for us over the course of the season, because we've not only got our two strikers who make those kinds of runs from time to time, but the likes of Yusuf and Vargas have been venturing forward from their centre midfield positions to make runs into those channels. Just like this from Yusuf. We're just going to lay it off to Rico Henry, who's going to deliver to the back post where Ruben Vargas lies in wait and tucks it into the back of the net to make it 3-2 Fulham. And the tables have turned again here at Stamford Bridge. What a ball from Rico Henry. He's put it on a plate first for Josh Sargent to open the scoring in the game, and now for Ruben Vargas, who steals in at the back post for his second goal of the game. And these new signings are looking absolutely incredible. What an impact Sargent has had. What an impact Ruben Vargas has had. Rico Henry now, it hasn't taken him quite as long to settle in as it looked as though it might after the first episode. Schlager too has been more than solid at CDM, and he has been again there, winning the ball back, putting it into the feet of Rico Henry to keep possession. Incredible performance in the first 15 minutes or so of each half. Ruben Vargas, there he is again, running into that channel. Josh Sargent doesn't quite get there. But he is still into the feet of Sanchez, who just has to hook clear. And I think over an hour into the game now, I'd anticipate another Chelsea change, and here it comes. Caicedo off, and it's going to be Enzo Fernandez on. Johannes Thorup to make a change or two here as well. So 2 changes for Johannes Thorup. It's going to be Rodrigo Muniz to come off for Timo Werner, who comes on against his old club. Muniz struggled to make an impact today, really. Ruben Vargas did not struggle to make an impact, but he is going to make way for Diarra, who comes on to provide A, some fresh legs, and B, a bit more of a defensive presence. Sargent, can he grab a second goal of his own? Why not? Why on earth not? 4-2. We've scored 4 goals, first against Aston Villa and now here against Chelsea. What an unbelievable start to the season. And that's a hat-trick of assists now for Rico Henry. Again, absolutely put it on a plate for Josh Sargent. Took it down on his chest with 1 touch. Fires across the goalkeeper with a second. And for the second time in as many episodes, Josh Sargent is in the search for a hat-trick. 2 goals to his name against Aston Villa. Almost put a 3rd past Emi Martinez. He's put 2 past Robert Sanchez again here today. And we're going to be searching for that 3rd. We are going to drop into our defensive game plan, though. We now have a 2-goal lead. And we do have, again, a bit more of a defensive presence in midfield now in Diarra, alongside Schlager and Yusuf. And I think, no. Fernandez. And Kunku grabs one back for Chelsea. Just as I was about to say, I think we just try and protect this 2-goal lead. Chelsea grab one back. And our position once more is slightly more fraught than we would like it to be. With about 25 minutes left to play. And you could see that goal coming from a mile off. Just nothing I could do to stop it. I was just a step behind Chelsea. Every step of the way through that move. Just trying to recover, just trying to catch up, just trying to follow the pass that I knew was coming. But by the time I got there, Chelsea had taken the next step forward. Good little run from Diarra again into that channel. We've had so much success with that approach so far. Badir Shield doing well to hold off Diarra. Of course, there's the impenetrable Shield dribble. Look at this, absolutely ridiculous. It's like he's made of steel. It's like the Incredible Hulk. You could just get absolutely nowhere close to the ball. Nicely worked from Chelsea, but Diarra cuts it out. And that's such a loose pass, but thankfully Bassi does find Bernd Leno. We just have to hook clear though, and I think we're going to be sitting in for the last 20 minutes or so. You can feel Chelsea have the impetus again. They have the momentum again. They have the bit between their teeth, searching for an equaliser. We're just going to have to try and prevent them from grabbing it. Good challenge by Calvin Bassi. Nice little pass from Josh Sargent as well into the feet of Diarra, who finds Emerson Royale, who ventures down the right-hand side and whips the ball in across the 6-yard box. And I think we may even just drop into our ultra-defensive game plan for the remainder of the game. And I think that means it's probably going to be Yusuf off, Werner dropping into left midfield, Sargent dropping into right midfield, and Yusuf Poulsen coming on up front, I think. We didn't put Alex Iwobi on the bench for this particular game. He could have been an option on either the left or the right, really. And I guess Andres Pereira could play one of those two positions. And we keep either Werner or Sargent up front. That's another option. We will evaluate next time the ball goes out of play anyway. And I'm kind of tempted just to hook it clear here with Emerson Royale. Instead, we play the ball into Diarra. Please run down the line, Sargent. Dealt with by Reguilon. Far too easy. 10 minutes to play. Well, 15 minutes to play, probably, with added time included. 15 minutes just to ride it out, and that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. This will at least give us the opportunity to make our next couple of changes as Reguilon leaves the field. Gusto to come on for Chelsea. So 2 more changes for Johannes Thorup and Fulham. It's going to be Yusuf to come off for Poulsen. So Josh Sargent does drop in to right midfield. Timo Werner does drop in at left midfield. And then it's going to be Owen Wijndal on for Rico Henry at left wing back as well. So we will drop into our ultra defensive game plan for the last 10 minutes or so. Good challenge from Schlager, but Leno just hooks clear. And hopefully that rolls out of play and we can pin Chelsea back, and it does. Should give us a chance to get our new positions figured out as well as we drop into that ultra defensive game plan. And it does look like everybody is now settled into where they'll likely spend the remaining 10 minutes or so. Yusuf Poulsen is just going to be tasked with pressing and potentially holding the ball up if we do manage to steal it away from Chelsea over the course of the next 10 minutes. I think that's going to prove to be a tough task, though. Schlager does exactly that, and he's just going to venture forward. Timo Werner can't find him. Just needed that run a little bit quicker from Timo Werner, a little bit sooner. He was a little bit flat-footed initially. And I think we're just going to have to try and while away these remaining minutes. When we get the ball, just try and take it to the corner. Try and, you know, put it into the feet of Poulsen. Put it into the feet of Werner and let him travel. As he does here. Scurries away from Reece James. I don't want to cross towards Sargent at the back post because there are 4 Chelsea players in the way. Instead, I would rather just keep possession through Diop and Adrabayo. We will wait for the Chelsea man to press and then just lay it into the feet of Emerson Royale. And then we can just go back. Absolutely no reason to press or try and thread the ball through needles. Just like that. As I'm saying that we don't need to do that, we do it. I'm literally doing what we don't need to do as I'm saying that we don't need to do it. 90 minutes, almost up though. A 1-goal lead late in the game here at Stamford Bridge. Good ball into the box. Diop heads clear. Poulsen can't get the foot in on the edge of the box. Diarra back trying to prevent Chelsea from progressing any further than they already have. Calvin Bassey manages to do exactly that, and we will just drop that into the channel. Timo Werner should get there. And again, we can just try and keep possession down in these areas of the pitch for as long as possible. There's Josh Sargent. There's Owen Wijndal. And again, we can just work the ball across the back line. Keep Chelsea chasing. Diop once more. 3 minutes of 4 of added time have already elapsed. And we're just 30 seconds left to play. Surely we're going to be able to see this out. Wijndal into the corner. Literally seconds left on the clock. And I think it's going to be a Fulham free kick. 4 minutes of added time were allocated. They have each now elapsed. And we're just going to take it short here and wait for the referee to blow his whistle, which he doesn't seem keen to do. I mean, I guess we're in a dangerous position and he's letting us play on. Oh my God, we almost made it 5. Blow the whistle, ref. And he does. And it's another win. Unbeaten start to the Premier League in 4 games. 4 games that include Chelsea and Aston Villa. Leicester City and Ipswich, you would have expected us to get results against. But I wouldn't have been too surprised at the start of the season if we lost against Aston Villa and Chelsea. But 2 more goals from Sargent. Again, he fails to grab the hat-trick. He didn't really have an opportunity to grab that 3rd goal in this particular game like he did against Aston Villa. But 2 from Vargas, 2 from Sargent. What a performance. There was about half an hour of the game in the first half, from about 15 to 45 minutes, where Chelsea really dominated and we were kind of hanging on. But other than that, I thought we were excellent. I mean, 54% possession, 11 shots to 9, 228 passes to 156. We were just more clinical. We were just more clinical in the final third. We were better in the boxes, as they so often say. Really good performance. So in Season 3 here, we managed to do what we failed to do in Season 2, and that was build on a really promising opening episode by continuing that momentum and getting another good result to begin Episode 2. And we arrive at our second game of the episode against Southampton without having had a Carabao Cup fixture scheduled. I guess that fortnight must have been an international break instead. So what we'll do is I'll play each of these 2 games against Southampton and Newcastle, and I'll show you the highlights of each of them. So only a couple of changes as we host Southampton here at Craven Cottage. Diarra comes into midfield alongside Schlager and Ruben Vargas, and Timo Werner comes in alongside Josh Sargent up front. Timo Werner got his opportunity to partner Josh Sargent up front, and his pace proved to be really difficult for the Southampton defenders to deal with. He also managed to link well with Josh Sargent himself, dropping a ball in behind for Sargent to run onto. He snatched at the chance though, and the effort went harmlessly wide. It was Sargent who would open the scoring shortly after though, and it was Timo Werner to provide the assist. Again, he slipped the ball through the back line for Josh Sargent to run onto, and there was no mistake with the finish this time. And it was an unlikely goal scorer in an unlikely situation who grabbed the second. Rico Henry popping up from a free kick deep in Southampton territory. Schlager delivered. Rico Henry got his head to the ball, and his uptick in performance continues as he grabs not only 3 assists in the Chelsea game, but a goal here. And we really did prove too much for Southampton to handle. Timo Werner almost grabbing a goal of his own before Diarra put the rebound into the side netting. Andreas Pereira came on in the second half and looked dangerous as well, cutting in off the right-hand side on a number of occasions and letting fly. But on all of those occasions, unfortunately, the shot with his left foot was less than ideal. And if Rodrigo Muniz wants to keep his place in the side ahead of Timo Werner, he's going to have to be far more clinical in these kind of situations. But really, we dominated Southampton from start to finish. You didn't see it in any of the highlights there, but they did press to try and grab a goal back late in the game, but we were already 2-0 up. We did defend well. It probably would have been too little too late from the Saints, who huffed and puffed in the first hour, 65, 70 minutes of the game, but really created very little of note. Which brings us to our third and final game of the episode against Newcastle at St James's Park. And again, there's limited changes to the starting 11. Yusuf Poulsen does come in up front alongside Josh Sargent, though. Yusuf returns to the midfield as we try and find the perfect third to accompany Schlager and Ruben Vargas, who has really established himself ahead of Andreas Pereira. Jan Bednarek comes into the centre of defence, as well as Owen Wijndal on the left. We managed to get off to a quick start against Chelsea earlier in the episode, but it was Newcastle here that took the lead within 5 or 6 minutes. Daniel Marlin benefiting from Ruben Vargas's dangerous ball across his own penalty area. So one of Newcastle's new frontmen already had a goal against us, and the other grabbed one shortly after. Victor Gyökeres poking the ball into the air and turning neatly on the half turn to force it past Bernd Leno with his left foot. Bernd Leno had a good game, to be fair to him. He was under fire early and often in this one. Newcastle absolutely dominating. We could hardly get near them. And we did rely on our captain and keeper to keep us somewhat in the game in the first period. But there was only so much Leno could do to defend against the onslaught. And just before half-time, Bruno Guimaraes nodded past him for a third time in the game to really put the game beyond all doubt, even before the break. We did manage to grab a goal back in the second half through Alex Iwobi, though. I said in the first episode, I don't really rate Iwobi in real life, but I certainly rate this. He cut in off the left-hand side and absolutely let fly with his left foot. But it was Newcastle that would score next. Gyökeres threw on goal. Bernd Leno made a good save, but Zaire Emery was first to the rebound. And with just minutes left to play, Newcastle had a 3-goal lead again. So a disappointing way to end the episode. We were starting to look like the Invincibles there for a moment, but Newcastle brought us quickly back down to earth. Episode 2 following a pretty similar format to episode 1. A really bright start, a couple of good wins in the Premier League, but a slightly disappointing way to end. But again, there are so many positives to take from the episode that we're not going to let that dampen our spirits. We do have our second Carabao Cup game arranged now. That's going to be against Sunderland in the next episode, but it's the Premier League table that I'm more interested in. And we are sitting pretty in third position. 4 wins, a draw and a loss. We've scored 15 goals. We're actually the top scorers in the Premier League, but we have conceded 9 as well, which puts us more in amongst those kind of lower top half of the table sides, I would say. Leaves us with a +6 goal difference, 13 points. Spurs unbeaten at the top of the table. The same can be said for Manchester City. Whilst down at the bottom end of the table, Ipswich have become the yo-yo club that really Norwich City have been over the course of the last 5, 6, 7, even 8 to 10 years or so. They find themselves in the relegation zone again, as do Wolves and West Ham. But in addition to that Carabao Cup game against Sunderland next month, we also have games against Brentford, Manchester United and Tottenham to get to. So a couple tricky fixtures in the Premier League once more. But we've already proven that we can be a match for even the best sides in the league, beating the likes of Aston Villa and Chelsea. So there's no reason we can't do the same against Manchester United and Tottenham. So we'll look forward to that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.